talking about testing in a friendly environment. Tony Bruce.
Cool, thanks for coming along. My name is Tony Bruce. I live in a place called Bedfordshire in England, which is just outside of London. And because I live just outside of London, I run the London Tester Gathering. Some of you may know the Cartoon Tester website, the Blogspot. He knocked this up for me, so I actually have a logo, which is kind of cool. At the London Tester Gathering, we get together in a pub to have a chat and a talk, and we share knowledge, we teach each other, and we learn from each other. I found that at a lot of talks, the best part of the talk is the discussion about the talk afterwards, which is what's great about CAST, is that you can do that during the talk. So I kind of thought, rather than wait till we get into the pub, let's just start in the pub. So all of the tester gatherings are in a pub in London. And we usually have a couple of talks, which I'll get into in a second. One of the good things about the gatherings is that they allow people to find other people. So there's a lot of recruiters that come along, and they sponsor the evenings, which to me is a good thing because it tells me that they are paying attention to what's happening in the local testing community. So I welcome those recruiters to come along. Plus, they put money behind the bar, which is always a good thing as well. I know a few people that have found work through the gatherings. I have not myself yet, but I haven't needed to, so that's quite good. One of the things that we've done is hold a charity, or an auction rather, for the National Autistic Society. Their head office is in London. No, it's not, sorry, it's in Scotland. And there is also a group which I can't pronounce. I wish somebody was here to help me, but it's called the Special Instern Group, I think it is, who are a charity that are helping autistic people, or training up autistic people to become testers. So one of the regulars of the London Tester Gathering is connected with them, and I'm hoping to be able to get something set up with them and find them some work in London as well. But it's been great that I've been able to use this to be able to raise money for charities. There are a number of people that come along to the gatherings. The guy on your right is obviously Michael Bolton, and my wife pointed out that that's actually a terrible picture, but I forgot to change it. The guy in the Spider-Man costume is a guy called Steve Allott, who is very, very helpful in gathering money for the sponsorship, and also he's dressed like that because he did that to raise money for the National Autistic Society. So somehow, by dressing as Spider-Man, he raised about £300. I don't know how. Okay, so some of the sponsors that we've had are, as you can see, are this lot, basically. The very first sponsor was actually Microsoft, and they sponsored the event as part of their Visual Studio 2010 launch, which was good, and it just kind of steamed on from there. I'm not going to go through all the names. You can see them there. There's some big ones, there's some small ones, there's some local ones you won't have heard of, but there are some big ones there as well that you would have heard of. Okay, so the format is usually just about 15 minutes long for a talk. There's usually one or two talks. Anyone can do a talk, as long as if you have an idea you want to throw out to the crowd, you can come up along and do that. The sponsor guys or the sponsorship people get about 15 minutes exactly to do a demo as well. I recommend to them that they actually find more value if they throw out one or two cool features and then stay around to actually discuss it, rather than try and stand there for an hour and do a demo. Because I found that people, after about 10 to 15 minutes, people start talking. They get bored. It's after work, you're in a pub, you probably have some friends around you, you want to have a drink and have a talk about your day. So, as I mentioned, the sponsors get more value as just one or two quick features and then stay around to talk about it. We've had a number of repeat sponsorships, which is good, and tells me that they're actually getting value out of it. Yes?
I'm getting some feedback that if you could stand a little closer.
A little closer. Right, how's that? Okay, so where was I? So yeah, there's a demo that's about 15 minutes long. Yeah. About 15 minutes long. And yeah, they throw out a cool feature or two and stick around to talk about it. One of the main ideas was actually to get out of the office. I didn't want it to feel kind of corporate-y. I wanted people to relax, to be able to feel they could talk. And basically get stuff off their chest. Sometimes you need a rant, and sometimes you don't feel quite good ranting in the office, I guess, is the word. Or you could be scared to rant in the office. In the pub, you're a little bit more relaxed. You can talk about what you're doing, and you can get feedback from people that work in other places, but may have gone through some things that you've gone through and have tried a few different things and can make a few suggestions. Okay, so some of the things that the tester gatherings have allowed me to do are last year is I ran a 2-day workshop at an organization called Skills Matter. They actually gave me the building for free, which meant I had 5 rooms to play with. We had 5 streams on at once on both days. There were a number of different workshops. In fact, some people that are actually here today ran some workshops. James Lindsay, who runs the Test Lab, he ran a test design workshop. There was a full-day security testing workshop, and there was quite a number of things. Alan Richardson, who wrote Selenium Simplified, he ran a session on Selenium 2, and there was, basically quite a few things. And I managed to do that for free, and also get sponsorship for lunch and beers afterwards as well. So that was quite a good day. I'm going to try and do it again, but this time I might charge because I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so how did I start? Basically, I just started. I posted a few places. I posted on SQA forums, and I posted on the Software Testing Club. And I mean, the first gathering was about 5 people. Now it's anything from 40 up to, someone told me one night we had 90 people in the pub. So some of the other ones that have been started off the back of this are the Brighton Tester Gathering. That one's actually me as well. But there's a Reading Tester Gathering, a Northwest Tester Gathering, and a Leeds Tester Gathering. And of course, the Software Tester Club have loads of other gatherings of their own as well. And they have a slightly different format. But they've all been successful. They get people coming. It starts off a bit slowly, but you do get people coming. And it's actually worth doing. So I'm going to end quickly with just a short story or a conversation I had with a regular at the tester gatherings. This person came along to me and said, thanks a lot for holding the tester gatherings. I just wanted to say basically that you won't know this, but last year I was about to file for bankruptcy. Thanks to the tester gatherings, I've been able to find work and I'm still going and I'm getting stronger. So that to me shows me the value of holding them. So I'll keep doing them. That's me. Questions?
I have several short questions, but you'd probably prefer them one per card, right? Are these organized through the meetup.com or?
They are. I'm a co-coordinator of the Agile Testing Group on meetup.com, so I advertise there and I advertise on LinkedIn. And anyone that has me on Twitter will get bored of the tweets about the Tester Gathering at some point because I run them every 4 to 6 weeks. So roughly about 2 weeks before they're on, I start basically, I guess you could call it Twitter spam, but most people know why I do that, so they're okay with my tweets.
So people are RSVPing for these through meetup.com?
They do RSVP, but I don't pay attention to that because you get people that show up that didn't RSVP, and you get half the people that RSVP not showing up.
Yeah, I have a meetup on Selenium here, and I've noticed sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
The other question, how do you do presentations in a bar?
I've actually been through 3 different venues, mainly because they filled up, and this one is large enough to keep about 100 people without getting too stuffy. But I've been lucky enough to find a bar with a function room, and it actually has a bar in the function room as well as a projector and a TV if you want to hook up to the TV. So I have been through 3 different venues, and I was quite worried when I packed out the first venue, and then I kind of thought I have to search for another venue and another venue, but this one seems to be working quite well so far. So it's a matter of, I use it as an excuse to get out for a drink, basically. I told the missus that I was looking for a bar that we could hold the gatherings in. So it was a pub crawl. It was work-related, though, obviously.
One final question. I'd like to know sort of what your agenda looks like for the 2 hours or hour and a half or whatever you're together.
We are actually there for the whole evening. We're there till the pub throws us out. So it starts at whatever time you are after work. There's no real agenda. There's usually 1 or 2 presentations and a demonstration. So I generally kick things off at about 7, and that gives people who finish at 6 time to get there. There's a cut-off time of about 15 minutes for each talk and the demo as well. So if it all goes to plan, it's about 45 minutes of talks and demos, and then the rest is actually people just talking.
Okay. New thread here in the back.
It's not a question, it's just a thank you to Tony. Basically, I am one of the regular of London Testers Gathering for all the free beers that I have drank in all these weeks.
And the learning. It's about the learning.
Yeah,
yes,
obviously.
the learning.
So the passive learning that you get by getting involved in so many different conversations It really helps. And as far as the logistic is concerned, I mean, it's probably not that difficult to give presentation in a bar because for 15 minutes, you can get people's attention. And people are normally polite enough to stay quiet for 15 minutes, and then they will lose the attention and start talking. But if you can keep it on track, like 15 minutes max, then it works really well, and it's working really well for LTG. So good job, Tony.
Yeah, thanks for coming along, and thanks for doing a talk.
New thread.
I might have missed it in your presentation, but who normally gives the demos? Is it just whoever shows up and somebody comes up with
Sorry,
something?
the demos were the sponsors that were up on the screen. So it gives a chance to tool vendors to actually come along and get a captive audience of roughly about 50 people, which is why I said I keep it to about 15 minutes because people do start to get bored and do start to talk, and they get more value out of actually going out into the crowd and discussing their tool and getting asked questions directly. On the other hand, it is also a smallish room, so you are talking directly one-to-one to the person speaking as well. So it works out quite well so far, yeah.
Any more cards? Thank you very much, Tony.
Cool, thank you for your time.
Talking about testing in a friendly environment, Tony Bruce.